Joe's Anthony Elengical for the updates.
Good morning, Philippines. Good morning. Did you all have a good time? I was telling someone I have never smiled so much in my life. Huh? The way I have smiled in the last 2 days. Nor I have posed for any photograph, including my wedding day. Yeah, I think this all reflects how much you love, each other, and I am so overwhelmed by your love. I don't know whether it is because of the city of Iloilo, whether you have the same love across the various regions in Manila, in Philippines. Yeah, but I am so thankful to you. I am so impressed with the kind of joy and the love that you all share with each other and the way you have loved me. Yeah, thank you so much. In fact, my wife has given me an orientation before going to Philippines. She had spent 3 months here in Manila on work. So it was many years ago. So she told me 2-3 things you should be very careful when you go to Philippines. One is, of course, people are beautiful. You should not be deceived by their looks. Yeah. Even a 60-year-old looks like an 18-year-old. Yeah. So I found it very true. I found it very true when I met some of you. I was quite shocked by when I asked them their age and the kind of children and the grandchildren that they have. So I wanted to know what is the secret for that. But anyways, so thank you so much once again. Well, my presentation today has got 2 parts. One, the international news from Atlanta and the Haggai news from different parts of the world. The second part of my presentation is about the best practices that we follow in the ministry. After spending 20 years in the corporate world, working with the corporate giants, global giants, I did not find anything different after I joined Haggai International as a full-time missionary. Because some of the processes that we follow in the ministry is world-class. And that is one of the reasons why the ministry is being successfully running for the last 50 years. Just because it is God's work does not mean that you can do what you like. That I learned it in Haggai. And I would want to share some of the best practices which might help you to run your ministry, your churches, the way God wanted you to run them. The Word of God says you need to be innocent like doves and wise as serpents. The wisdom that the Lord has given to us in this world needs to be used for His glory, not only for the material things. So this is one big learning that I have after joining Haggai, and I just wanted to share some of that with you all. So I start with the greetings from Dr. Brice Norton, our COO, and Sundar Singh Sakma, who is a VP for IMD for Haggai International. Dr. Brice was here last year, I was told, and Sundar is a known figure. A lot of people know. He has been coming to Philippines almost every year. So both of them send greetings to you. And I am so blessed to have a wonderful team for the international ministry development across the world. And you are so blessed. You're so blessed to have one of the top performers in the team, Susan Chomi. Yeah. Susan is, I came to know about Susan's real age only day before yesterday. Yeah. I'm so impressed with the kind of energy that, energy that she displays for God's work in this country. And we are so blessed. So we have a team of 20 people from different nationalities working working for Haggai, and some of them are working as volunteers, meaning they don't take any remuneration in terms of for the work that they are doing. Some of them are doing volunteers, and most of us are paid staff. So we live by the mercies of the people, the donors around the world, and we are so thankful to all the sponsors who have been supporting this ministry. Now, Haggai ministry has completed 50 years, and the final celebration is happening in the month of September in Bali. How many of you have registered so far? Only very few, less than 10 of you in this group. But to give you an update of the Filipinos who have registered so far, it is 55 Filipinos have registered for the Golden Jubilee in Bali. So that is a great inspiration for those who have not yet registered. And I have a breaking news for those who are looking forward to register for the Golden Jubilee celebrations in Bali. We have just 20 seats left. So it is like this update is as on day before yesterday, 8 p.m. Manila time. Okay, so if you wanted to register, please log on to the website, log in your name, swipe your card, and get yourself registered. It is a great opportunity. Each time when the Haggai leaders meet, after the meeting, you see them more charged, and with more vigor, with more energy, they go back to their mission field. That has been a practice for the last 50 years, and this celebration will be an amazing experience for those who are looking forward to be a part of it, because it brings in the people who have been a part of the ministry in the last 50 years. So I would strongly recommend you to join the celebration. Now, in the last 50 years, Haggai ministry has been equipping leaders around the world. And what we have done is something which is really, really amazing. It is not our effort, but God's leading, which has led the ministry to train, to equip 116,000 people across 188 nations. This is one of the rare ministries today which exist in the world, who covers the length and breadth of the world, taking the gospel, equipping the soldiers for Christ across the world. And we have an active 140 nations today where the team IMD caters to, where we constantly work with the Haggai leaders across 140 nations, trying to get them to Mavi and then send them back to their countries and develop the ministry for God's glory. And out of this 116,000 people, 70% of them are equipped by the alumni associations of each country. I think that deserves a round of applause to all of you, because it is not something somebody sitting in Atlanta is doing all the work, but all those leaders who are equipped in Atlanta go back to their countries and keep on doing the work of the Lord. And that is an amazing achievement in the ministry. And we wanted to congratulate you, Philippines. You have been leading that one of the leaders in that space, training and equipping and training the people in your country. Now, next is a quiz program. Next slide. If you give the right answer, you will be given an opportunity to take a selfie with me. Okay? Since you are so obsessed with, taking photographs, I thought that is the best gift I can give you. Okay, can you tell me which country topped the list? Who, have, who says India? It's not India. Malaysia, Indonesia, Brazil tops the list with 8,460 people. And who's the number 2? Number 2 is Indonesia. And number 3, India. Now, next one is very difficult. If you tell me the right answer, 2 selfies. Number 4. No. 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 South. No. You would not even in your wildest dream think of such a country to come on number 4 position. It is like a wild card entry in the US Open, yeah, or a Wimbledon. It is Pakistan. Just imagine Pakistan been training 4,000 plus people who you know the history of Pakistan. You know the current things that are happening in Pakistan. But Lord has been doing an amazing work with the Haggai leaders in Pakistan. Not only with the Haggai leaders, the reports that we have, there are amazing crusades that are happening. Millions of Muslims have been, have heard the gospel, have been hearing the gospel and changing their lives for Christ and living as Christians, but not without making many people know about it. That is one of the reasons I told you not to photograph that Nuruddin's, not to take the photograph of Nuruddin, because some of these Muslim leaders, Muslims who have converted themselves to Christian, are still living as Muslims for the outside world, but in their heart they worship the one and living God, Jesus Christ. Yeah, so that is a very amazing, things that are happening in Pakistan. And number 5. No. It is Nigeria, another Muslim country. Yeah. You have been, it is like, God is coming for many years. And now He has come. So, number 6 position is Philippines. Deserves a round of applause. Yeah, big round of applause. And then comes the Mexico's, Colombia, Egypt, and Malaysia. Malaysia is a little low in the top 10 category. However, so this is an amazing figure. And the year 2000, and okay, one more thing I wanted to tell you. This figure is about the national seminar equipping leaders. This does not include the area seminars. I don't know whether you have the area seminars in Philippines. Yeah? If you really look at the area seminar as a strategy for the gospel poverty, it has been very effectively, ministries are doing, the countries are doing, especially in India and in Indonesia. There are at least 2 to 3 area seminars that happens every week in these places. They do it in their own language, their own native languages, and number of days are limited. It is 3 days. Some countries follow the 3-day pattern. So that is a great opportunity for Philippines to adapt, to take the gospel to the nook and corners of the country. Yeah? So that is something which I wanted to share with you. Now, in the last year, financial year, we've been able to equip 5,000 leaders around the world, with Indonesia leading the chart, and Philippines number 2 position. I think that is a great, you should give a great round of applause for yourself. From number 6, last financial year, you became number 2. To console you, in the calendar year, you top the chart with 824 people. I think that is the biggest achievement that you all should be proud of. Yeah, and all of you, and Susan has been so excited about this number. That she is been able to, with the support of all of you, been able to achieve in the calendar year. And my question to you is, where do you want to reach in the next 3 years? Where do you see yourself reaching in the next 3 years? The way Haggai works, some of you would know, we plan minimum for 3 years. We have a strategy for 3 years on which we work year after year. So 3 years back, the leaders from around the world met in Dubai. Yeah, the president and the spokesperson from each country met in Dubai, worked out, prayed together, planned together, and came up with a 3-year strategy. And on this 3-year strategy, we have been working together. And all these numbers that I am talking about is the result of that 3-year plan that happened in Dubai. And that 3-year is getting over in 2019, 2020. Now it is time for us to think of the next 3 years, giving ourselves a goal of what it is that you wanted to achieve. Whether you agree or not, I am taking the liberty to put you as the number 1 country for 2023 in equipping leaders, Haggai leaders, and topping the top 10 country position. Yeah, and 3 years back, God willing, if I come back, I would take a selfie with all of you. Yeah, so that is what I see, and that is what the way Lord sees you, not I see, the Lord sees you. If you put your heart together for the Lord, it all depends upon how much you wanted to bite, how much fire you wanted to, have it in your heart. If you are really looking for that, you will break every barrier that is in front of you, and go and achieve what the Lord has put in your hearts. Amen. Amen. Now, in the last 1 year, we are seeing a huge revival of, the Haggai ministries around the world, with a very special focus upon these 15 countries. Japan, South Korea. Japan has been on a hibernation mode for the last many years, at least 10 to 15 years. And God's grace has been flowing now, started flowing in Japan. And we are having our first installation of the national board in Japan on 22nd of May. Yeah, so I would want you all to pray. That is my first trip doing an installation of a new board, in Japan. And that is a great achievement, because Japan as a country has got their own, challenges. One such challenge is the language. They speak Japanese, and most of them speak Japanese, especially those who wanted to grow in Christ speak Japanese. Yeah, others are well advanced, but there has been a disconnect between the business side or a professional side with the spiritual side. But God has been working very, very, very hard with the Japanese and Haggai International to revive the ministry. So is with Korea. After many years, we had a participant from Korea attended the Haggai International program the last month. She just returned about a week back, and she's so charged up. She said, you please come to Korea. We will revive the ministry in Korea. So there has been a lot of revival happening in Japan and Korea. So is the rest of the country. You can, read those names. And I wanted you all to keep this, these countries in your prayer. Just 10 seconds, just remember these countries in your prayer. That will, and God will, I believe God will honor your prayers. From this, I would like to give you some of the changes that are happening in Haggai International, the leadership changes. Some of you are already aware of the changes, but for the benefit of the larger group, these are some of the changes. I joined around 10 months back as the executive director. You all know Adha Dhanaraj is a face which cannot be forgotten. He has moved into a new role as the Chief Learning Officer for Haggai International. So what he does today is to go around different countries and train the faculties in their own countries. Yeah, we did not have this model before. We used to take the faculties to Maui, train them there. But now this model is being worked out this way that the trainer will come to your country. You need to gather the people for that, so that Hadar can train them. So we are equipping the trainers in your own countries so that you can have more trainers homegrown. Sridhar Subramaniam, who was the director, has become the VP for equipping. He's running the entire show in Maui. Your local boy, Dr. Joey, has moved to Maui as the director for training. We have a new chief financial officer, Luisa, and a chief development officer, Gary. Now, the role of a development officer is to look out for the money. He needs a lot of support, not just financially. I don't want to say that you go to hell if you don't contribute, but that is only applicable in Philippines. But but he needs a lot of prayers. He and his team. It is not easy to get funds these days for the ministry work, and every money that is being sponsored, that is coming into the ministry, is being audited severely by the auditors and being questioned by the sponsors. Gone are those heydays where people could do what they like, which means you and I are becoming more accountable. Yeah, so that is a good thing, I believe. Yeah, it's a good thing for the ministry. At the same time, we need people to open their hearts so that the God's work may continue. Right? So we also have a new person on the board who is Dustin Wills, who's a specialist, who's an amazing marketeer now, who will be responsible for marketing Haggai International around the world, especially in the North America, Canadian, Australian markets, where people are not aware of the Haggai ministries as much as in the Asian countries. So he will be responsible for developing the communication for Haggai International. He will be visiting some of you in the next few weeks, so to take the stories of the Haggai leaders, the amazing work that Haggai leaders are doing around the world. So these are some of the changes at Haggai International. Now, Haggai leader experience, all of us know, is very, very popular. We have it in English session in Maui. We also have a session in Mandarin for the Chinese people, right? So this Mandarin session is not just limited to China alone. It is also happening in Malaysia. It is also happening in Indonesia. Yeah, the Indonesian Chinese and the Malaysian Chinese are also being equipped in Mandarin language. We also have a very active Arabic training program, yeah, for those from the Middle East region. And the sessions are in Arabic language. And we are launching the Spanish program next month. First Spanish program for Haggai International. It is happening in Guatemala, and it is the first batch which will be trained in the month of May 2019. And soon we will be launching, God willing, a program in French as well. Yeah, so today French is not for the French in France, okay, but for the French in those countries, the African countries who speak French. Now there has been a disconnect. People ask, why don't you do training in the developed European countries and the developed American, Canadian countries? The vision is very simple. Those who have heard the gospel have heard already. We wanted to take the gospel to those who have not heard yet. Yeah, so the ministry's focus is that, and we continue to remain with the same focus, taking the gospel to those places where the gospel is not being heard. I was talking to somebody, I was talking to Raymond yesterday. He was telling me some of his friends has not even heard of Bible. Have you heard somebody like that? I think you spoke about Philippines or in Japan. Japan. Yeah. It is there. It is there. It is in reality, it is there. People have not heard about it. It is not something what you read in the Acts of Apostle or the letters of Paul. Even today, people have not heard about Jesus, not heard about gospel. So that will motivate us to take the gospel to the unreached. Sometimes these people, the Christian leaders, get stuck by evangelizing the evangelized. We are talking the same thing to the people who have heard about Christ, trying to, put them on the pedestal. That is good, but it is better if you can take the gospel to the unreached. Then only the Lord will return, right? Yeah, the gospel has to reach the ends of the earth. Moving on. Now, that was the news part. Now coming to the best practices. Haggai ministry work on 4 pillars. The key differentiators of Haggai ministry is what I wanted to share now with you. Number 1 is the global vision the founder, the leadership has got, which is being communicated, which is being carried on to every country in the world by the Alumni Association. Not by just, telling that this is the vision. They do it with a lot of passion. And that is what is making Haggai ministry a successful ministry, running for the last 50 years, doing the works of God's kingdom. And that is one of the key pillars. Another key pillar, and this key pillar is being translated like this. The leaders catch the vision, they own the training. Thanks to all TCs from Philippines, the leaders become trainers. How do you become trainers? I wanted to also clarify here. Trainer for Haggai ministry does not mean that you need to take a flight and go to Maui and train. That is the wrong understanding. When you attend a Haggai program anywhere in the world, you automatically become a trainer. You go and train the people who have not heard or experienced God, and that is how you become a trainer. I shared about my experience on day 1. When I came back, I shared my experience with people who have not even heard about Haggai, and God lit that fire. And God wanted to use your experience to light the fire in the hearts of the people who are willing to take the mantle and run for the Lord. Amen. So I wanted to clarify this, that you become a trainer the moment you finish a Haggai program, whether in Maui or in Philippines. Yeah, so that is the vision of a Haggai leader. That is how you become a trainer, the leader becoming a trainer equipping more leaders for evangelism. Second pillar, the ministry is guided by an organization. Yeah, the policies, the vision, all done at the leadership level in Atlanta, but it is driven by the alumni, which I've already explained to you. Third pillar is a self-sustained model. And I am so glad the way you have contributed number of covers that came in. I've not even seen in rich countries like India and Indonesia. Yeah, so many covers coming back on an annual general assembly. That shows your heart. Yeah, and that is one of the pillars of Haggai Ministries. You contribute, you put in your money for the glory of God. I think that is a big model for us in our ministry. And finally, the fourth pillar is the international faculties that are available. You would have already experienced the faculties. Other keeps saying this. Haggai never gives the content to the faculties. You are the content. You are the content in which people will be inspired to carry on with the baton, with the fire for the Lord. So we have been so blessed to have people from different walks of life to be on board of Haggai International, offering themselves to share the experiences that they have in their lives with the people who are coming to be equipped. So these are 4 pillars of Haggai, which is driving the organization. Now, as I mentioned in the beginning, every organization needs certain processes to follow. If that is not there, you will see you will see the burst here and there, but not the fire catching on. And Haggai International has been following these 2 principles, which are globally accepted principles by global corporations for the successful running of their organizations. This is not something which is invented by Haggai. This is invented by the people from the world who has proved that these models have been working successfully in their organization. I don't remember who invented 4DX, but OKR has been invented by a group of people from Google. And you know where Google is today, right? So Haggai as a ministry, especially in the international team, we have been following these principles in our ministry, not only us, but also countries like India, countries like Indonesia and Malaysia, who've been effectively using these models for their, for their running of the ministry. I just wanted to spend a little time in explaining what these processes are. Now, this is a theory. I wanted to warn you. If you do not put your mind here, you will not understand. It is not about the stories. It is about the theory. What is 4DX? What is that we focus on? When you plan many things in life, right? But when you apply the 4DS process, you focus upon the most important goal out of the 10 things, out of the 20 things that you have identified that you want to do. You don't run you don't run with all your goals, but focus upon the topmost priority or topmost goals that you wanted to achieve. The first principle of 4DS is that. Then second principle of 4DX is that you take lead measures, which I explained to you with the examples as we move on. You keep a scoreboard for yourself. There is this, joke which keeps circulating in WhatsApp, at least in our country. Be careful to run on the first week of January, because you will be bumping yourself into a lot of people on the road, Because 1st of January, people take a lot of resolution that they want to run for the rest of the life. But you can safely run from week 2, because the first week, most of people will retire. So that happens in our ministry also. We start with a lot of aggressive plans. But if you don't have a scoreboard or a checklist of what you're doing, how you're progressing, you will not be able to identify where you have reached. And fourth, principle of 4DX is to create that accountability. I will explain that to you in detail. Now, this 4DX was something which we implemented around 4 years back, which has resulted in a tremendous, which has given us a tremendous result. If you look at these red, spots in the map, these are some of these countries which were in a hibernation mode for many years. Look at this country, Burkina Faso, was on hibernation for 15 years. After implementing the 4DX principle, they became alive. Look at Lebanon. First time the Lebanese team was able to form a Haggai ministry team and equip the leaders in Lebanon. So all these results are an outcome of 4DX principle which was implemented 4 years back. Yeah, so if you wanted to know more about 4DX, you can get in touch with me. I can communicate to you through an email what are the various principles that are involved in the 4DX methodology and how to implement that. There is a book which is available. If you look at this 4D, the fourth discipline of execution, you can read through it. I don't expect every member in this group to read through, but those who are in the responsible position of the ministry, at least the board members of each chapter, should be reading and understanding how professionally you can manage your ministry and your church, right? So this is 4DX, and now I wanted to share about the OKR. OKR is, the full form of OKR is Objective and Key Result Area. This is something which as a ministry, we are currently working in our team. Yeah, so what does it mean? It means you are creating a framework to define what you want to achieve and how to track that. Unlike 4DX principle, where you have a long-term planning, OKR is short-term. I wanted to reduce my weight 10 kilos is something which I need to set at the beginning of year. I cannot reduce in 4 days. Nobody can reduce in 4 days. Fourth day, the person, if does it, he will be dead. Now, how do I achieve that 10 kilos reduction? I need to have a short-term plan. 3 months, what should I do? What should I eat? What exercise should I do? So OKR is that. In the short term, how do you evaluate yourself? What is your goal for the short term? So that is what happens in OKR. And the results is amazing. It helps you to achieve 10x. This is a study which has been done around the world. And people have, come out with this result that people who have implemented OKR in their organization have seen 10 times the productivity increased in this organization. So, and we are also seeing it in Haggai International, yeah, especially in the area of recruitment. Yeah, last year we had seen a 30% increase in terms of new applications coming for Mavi sessions. Yeah, so it is working. It is not something where you just talk as a theory and leave it as a theory, but it really works. You have seen the Formula 1 race, right? You have it in Philippines? Philippines has got a circuit? No, does not have a, but I thought it's a Manila circuit. Singapore. So, OKR is like a pit stop. What is a pit stop? What do they do in a pit stop? The racer comes. Before the lap, they tighten the screws. They change the oil if it's required. They refuel. They check the gauge of the tires. They ensure that everything is ready to go for the next lap. Then he comes back again. He comes back again to the pit stop. OKR is like that. You set your goal. You identify what is that you wanted to achieve. You run with that. Come back. Evaluate yourself. Have you been able to achieve what you have set for yourself for the next in the next 3 months and the last 3 months? That will give you a motivation. Yes, you are on the right track. That will also give you inspiration. Yes, I need to change certain things. So that is what is the OKR's benefit in our ministry. So it has got 2 parts. It will help you, where do I want it to go? That is the objective. And how will I know that I am getting in there? So let me give you an example of how we do this OKR. These are the 3 areas which will help you if you effectively implement OKR in the area of recruitment, fundraising, and exploring new areas. So this is a typical funnel. How many of you work in the corporate world? Only 1, 2 people. Most of you are businessmen, I guess. So you have this funnel where you have, people who fill in the application, whom you invite for the, for the sessions, and finally people who confirm for the participation. You can see that example here in this room. I know few people who have already sent in the application, yet to confirm. I know few people who have confirmed their participation, but yet to participate. So this happens for every event around the world. The number of people who confirm are very huge. The number of people who are invited are less. And the number of people who actually go are minimal. Many are called, few are chosen. So to make this bottom of the pyramid or the funnel to go up, OKR is one of the proven methodologies. You can increase the bottom of the funnel. So this is a typical example of an OKR sheet. I'll just spend a little time on this. There are 2 parts to this. I'm talking about the key objective areas. There are 2 parts in this particular framework, which we have taken it for our ministry. Every member of Haggai International IMD team follow this methodology every quarter. And when the reviews that happened every month, this is the framework which we use to review the progress of the team member. So what do? One of our objective is to generate quality leads for national seminar, right? So in the quarter 1, you put a goal of 150 quality leads to be added to the application pool. So you are set now. You are already setting a goal for yourself. So in your ministry, in your church, you wanted to add, say, 100 new believers or new people to your church. Set a goal for yourself. And once you set that goal, the next step is the action plan. How do I do it? How do I do it? Write it down. Example here. Identify and motivate volunteers in my region. The meeting that happened outside this hall yesterday afternoon, was one of such action plan to generate more leads for Philippines, where Susan has set herself a goal that she will recruit, she will identify so many people through the endorsers and international selection and selection volunteers. That is what she was doing yesterday afternoon with you all. I don't know whether you realized it. That is how we work. Now Susan will send you to all the selection volunteers and endorsers a sheet asking for your commitment. How many people will you be able to give every month? And Susan will further follow up with you how you are doing. Did you send the person which you have committed? When will you send? You be bothered, you will be bombarded by the calls. So if you do that on a structured manner, you will see your ministry flourishing. You will see the ministry flourishing. And this is what is the objective of OKR. Did you understand what I'm saying? Yeah, any questions on this? I have been talking so much. I will pause now to take any questions from you. If there are no questions, it means two things. All of you know. One is you have understood it thoroughly. Or nothing has gone inside. I don't know which one to take. The first one, I believe so. Yeah, these are all simple things. These are not complicated things for us to, implement. I am a non-technology guy who worked 20 years in technology industry. I survived. Not survived. I was excellent by God's grace. God given me the gift of simplifying things the way I understand. So if you wanted to know more about this OKR and how to do that, Susan is the best person to be in touch with, or you can also connect with me. Yeah. Periodic review, which is known to everyone, and it always works as a team. As I told you, fellowship, teamwork go hand in hand. Haggai Ministry's success is not because of one individual. It is because of all the people sitting here in this room and many more outside this room. So I wanted to end by just thanking you once again for this great opportunity that you have given to listen to me, inviting me and to listen to me. And I am so inspired. I carry great memories with me back to Atlanta and to my country. And I would definitely keep you all in my prayers. Yeah? I wanted to share one small thing which is not in connection with this topic at all, but something which I feel very passionate. Wherever I go, I tell, because of my involvement in the family ministries around in my country, and wherever I go, I keep telling people to focus upon your families, revival, especially men. We have a great responsibility to bring our family to Christ. And God only works through you. There was a survey which was done in the United States, which I shared with somebody yesterday. The survey result was this: when a child in a family comes to know about Jesus, there is a 6% chance that the whole family will come to know Christ. When a mother comes to know Christ and she follows Christ, there is a 33% chance that the whole family will come to know Christ. But if a father comes to know and follow Christ, there is a 96% of chance that the whole family will come to Christ. And I believe this responsibility on the shoulders of every father who is sitting here, to bring your families to Christ. And God will work amazingly in your families and in your children's life. I do not know about the culture of Philippines as much as I know about India. But those people who are in India, we do not give as much freedom as like many countries, in the Western world. But one thing which I can tell you, the leaders of Haggai leaders who are sitting in this room, both father and mother, place your hands every day on your children and bless them. You will raise up a generation who will follow Christ. Because that is what we need to give to our children. Not the money, not the education, not the things that the world can give, but give them Jesus by blessing them every day in your life. Remember the blessing of Isaac, which God honored. And we say today, God of Jacob, God of Isaac, God of Abraham, because of that great blessing that Isaac gave to Jacob. Amen.